Hi, and welcome to That's So Nova. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Today we're going to be sewing together the Aries Crossbody by Knotted Thread Co. I got the permission to sew it, and I'm really excited to make this pattern with you. So let's jump in. When you print out the pattern, there are going to be instructions on how tall, wide, and how to print out the pattern itself. And there is a great video tutorial by Shannon herself. I highly recommend you to watch it. There's going to be materials and supplies and notions. I always put a clip on the page that has the seam allowances because sometimes I just forget. So the seam allowance today is going to be 3/8 of an inch. Basting stitch is 1/8 of an inch, and the top stitching is 1/8 of an inch. So one of my favorite things and patterns are when a designer does put like the bag's anatomy, or in this case, the bag's map. It helps when you're like stumbling and you're not understanding the instruction to look at the anatomy of the bag and be like, oh yeah, that's where it goes. Another place I put a marker where mine's is a hair clip, but you can use a post-it, bookmark, whatever, dog ear the page. I like to put it on the cut list because there are going to be some pieces that do not have a assigned letter. And if I get discombobulated or my mind is wondering, it just helps to flip back and be like, oh, this measurement matches this, and this is where I go. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to interface and prep all your pieces. This is a highly important step to this. Please do not skip the step. You will be wildly disappointed at the end result because you are not following it. We're going to be top stitching the magnet and our two D-ring connectors. So for this, you're going to top stitch this like we're about to do right now, and then from there, you're going to edge coat it, and however long it takes, let it cure between, and then come back to it. Whenever I make this bag, I usually have a day of just prepping, and I'll prep 3 to 4 bags with different paints, and then I'm ready to go to sew them in an assembly line. So let's start with stitching your magnet. You're going to want to put these two pieces together and make sure that it has interfacing or some kind of protective mechanism. Like I use this pillow foam that I get from Lowe's. It's in the section where you put down hardwood flooring. It's sticky on one side, and I put it on here so it can help with any friction and actually give the bag some kind of support. So we're going to top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch, having long tails because we're going to pull them to the back. And take your time when you're top stitching, and the most important thing is to breathe. I think that when we're top stitching, we're holding our breath to make sure that we get the right stitch, and sometimes we just forget the bare necessities of breathing. All right, so once you're done top stitching, you're going to cut long tails. You're going to pull the threads to the back like it shows on figure page 9, the second figure. We're going to pull the loops through the back. And we're just going to tie them off. And it gives the bag like an endless stitch. There you can't see the back stitches. It's really professional looking, and it gives it a real high-end look. So we're gonna tie it off, and I usually tie it about 3 to 4. I'm kind of excessive with it. Then I snip the threads, and then toss the threads in the trash and kind of melt them, and it looks really good. So you're going to do these to your D-ring connectors too, bring them to the back, and then when you're done with the step, you would edge coat all the way around. I did edge coat prior to doing top stitching. I do this because I have a tendency of using contrasting thread a lot, and sometimes I'm a completely and utterly messy painter. And that's part of my process. I don't know. I think it's all part of my process. And so if I can edge paint before I top stitch, then there's not going to have that probability where my edge painting will touch my threads. If you're not doing contrast stitching and you did this in all black, then you're using black edge paint. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever way is easier for you. This is just the way I do it. We're going to take these pieces and put them to the side. And she goes over edge painting and opening up the seam allowance on page 10 for this. Now I have one consecutive piece. You can, the file could show you where you can fold over and have one consecutive piece, or you can have two separate and have that really cool center stitch. Kind of wish I did the center stitch, but I can't go back now. Then you're going to make some markings. You're going to make markings for your, let me grab for your main piece. And your main body circle pieces, and as well as you're going to make some markings. There's not a lot of pieces, and somehow, some way, faithfully, I'm notorious for misconstruing pieces. You're going to have your pieces like this, and these little cuties like this. So you're going to put your Decaville light into the middle. There's measurements that explain where you need to go on step 11. And I mean, page 11. On page 11, there's also where you're going to put your magnet stabilizer. I didn't put Decaville light. I actually took, again, a part of this foam and I glued it into the measurements. And I have my fleece here. I do not recommend Decaville light for the main body pieces or the gusset because we'll be birthing the bag through its zipper pocket. I did not use woven interfacing. I'm using a water resistant canvas, so I don't need to interface it. So make sure you do the snips on the top and bottom for your centers. This helps tremendously around a lot. Now we're going to start with the construction. With the construction, you're going to need your zipper. That's a 9-inch zipper. Your zipper pull. And there are 4 zipper tabs, which I found 2 out of the 4. We're going to do our 4 zipper tabs. Put this right over here. 3. I promise you I have them. It's just me. Getting all the pieces. Or maybe I don't have it. I can cut out one. Fudge. Okay. I'll cut out one. That's not a problem. Sometimes that happens. You just like, you know, think you have all the pieces and you don't. It's not me if I don't forget a piece. Oh my goodness, I found it. I found it. Yay! It's still me, guys. It's still me. Okay. So we're going to get you're going to need your 1 zipper. That's 9-inch. You need your zipper pull. You're going to need your 4 interior zipper tabs, your 2 upper lining pieces, your interior, you're going to need your pull, and then you need your 2 lower main lining pieces. All right. So we have everything. You're going to insert your zipper pull on, and I already have mine on. And then you're going to go to page 13. We're going to place the zipper pulls on both sides. I'm just going to put a clip. And I like to line these up really nice and neat. And sometimes I put 2 clips just to ensure that there's no shifting. Okay. Then we're going to sew these short ends at 3/8 of an inch. Back stitch at the beginning and end. I really like to back stitch over the zipper teeth itself because if they separate, then it's all for naught. Okay. Then we're going to carefully press each piece in. And just because I used, I didn't have black waterproof canvas or black cotton, so I didn't have something that was nice and easy to fold over. So I'm trimming up the exterior pieces so that way it can lay down flatter without having any bulk. I am not going more than 1/8 of an inch, and I'm not cutting my zipper. Whatever you do, I repeat. Will Robinson, do not cut your zipper. We're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. Hold on. It would help if I top stitch the right direction. I just kind of just carefully place this over. And you just press them nice and flat. All right, so when after you top stitch them 1/8 of an inch down, we're going to mark the centers of the zipper tape. I'm just trimming. I'm notorious for keeping like long tails and not trimming properly. So I'm going to go get one of my Choco pens. I'm going to grab both seams, put them seam to seam, and then I'm going to put a clip. And then I'm going to find my center. I'm going to move my zipper out of its way. And I'm going to draw my zipper. Because I would have actually used a pen, but the zipper tape is black. So it's kind of working against me. And I do the same thing on the inside. And I use that clip so that all sides are matching. Okay, so then we're going to grab our zipper lining. So the one, I wrote this down. We're going to put, the zipper lining is the shorter one, if I'm not mistaken. The shorter lower main lining, right sides up on your work surface. This is the shorter one. We're going to find our center on that. And I'm just going to put a small little snippy snip. I do that for the bottoms too. Oops, sorry. My phone is just not on vibrate. Let me fix that real quick. There we go. My phone like forever startles me when it's actually on. So we're going to put this right sides together with my zipper pull going towards the left. You can take a few clips. And we're going to base this along the edge at 1/8 of an inch. And when you get to the zipper pull, just make sure your needle's on needle down and just move your zipper out of the way. Even if you have clearance, it can do this like slight bump thing, and then you're trying to figure out why your zipper lining doesn't look straight afterwards. It's because of the zipper pull. All right. So we have that. We're going to now get our zipper lining pocket. And we're going to place this right sides together. And we're going to flip it in place. You can have your pocket open from right to left or left to right. It's all personal preference. We're now going to sew this at 3/8 of an inch. Be cognizant of your zipper lining, zipper pull. Once you get to that section, just move the zipper pull out of its way, so that way it can look effortlessly without having that lump. I'm getting close to the zipper pull. I'm just going to move it. Okay. I already have like a small little bird nest of threads. Yay! We're going to press this open. You can use a seam roller, or if you're using cotton, you can take it to your ironing board. And then we're going to top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch. Making sure everything is nice and taut, and again, zipper pull out of the way. Okay. All right, then we're going to pull this lining. We're going to take it and put it right on the very top of the zipper. What you want to do is you're going to want to baste that together at 1/8 of an inch. And again, just making sure everything is lined up and centered. Trim those threads. I'm saying this to you, but it's really meant for me. So we have our zipper pocket ready almost to go. We're going to do a couple cool things to it in a moment. We're going to grab the main lining with the stabilizer on the back, and we're going to match those center marks that we put on the zipper. Clip it into place. I'm just going to move my zipper from the beginning, and we're going to sew this together at 3/8 of an inch. When I'm getting close to the zipper, I'm going to put my needle down, and I'm going to move it out of the way. And whoo-wee, this is why people like industrials. I just literally sewed through a clip. And the needle actually didn't hit it. That's like the hilarious part. Okay, let me re-sew that. I make mistakes all the time if you're new to this channel. If you ever want to feel like you're an awesome stoler, just watch me. I continuously make mistakes. My name is Shanova. I accidentally sewed through my ruler the other day. It's good times. We're going to trim our threads. We're going to push this seam up, and then we're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. If you're hearing little pitter patters around, that's my dog. He's probably up to no good. Usually this is when he naps, so I'm pretty sure he has like a stuffed animal or something. All right, so let's get all these threads out of the way, and I'm going to grab a pen that you can see on camera. Now we're going to trim away the excess zipper tabs. Okay, we did that. We trimmed away. Then we're going to be doing some measurements on the back of our zipper. So we're going to get a ruler and we're going to make some measurements. We're going to push the lining out of the way and we're working just with the pocket. And the measurement is on step 23. We're going to do the same thing over here. All right, so we are going to trim up until you reach the seam allowance. Let me draw the seam allowance on this side because I, lo and behold, of course, had to draw it on the wrong side. Again, that's just me. Trim it on this side. All the way up until the seam allowance and then just cut across. Okay. Then we're going to cut the pocket so it can have two openings. Okay. We're going to go to page 18. And we are going to measure up from the bottom. I'm going to put the seam allowance on the back side too. Measure up and there's a marking that we're going to put to the bottom. And we're going to fold these lines up to make our lip so we can have a nice clean edge. So what we're going to do is do our seam allowance going down at 3/8 of an inch. And we're going to back stitch at the beginning and end. And we're only going to sew until that line that we drew and back stitch. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to start actually on the line that we drew and back stitch. All right, we're going to trim these extra threads. All right, and then I'm just going to snip into where my stitching stopped, not past that 3/8 of an inch mark. And at this point, you would fold the 3/8, it's an inch up, and fold it to the line that we created and press it in place. I don't have my little heater or my little press with me. I forgot to warm it up, so I'm going to use some double-sided tape. So first I'm going to put like little tapes on to fold in that little 3/8 of an inch on itself, so that way it doesn't get all weird and bulky. And then I will use one strip to do it. But if you're working with cotton, you can just fold this in, press it towards that 3/8 of an inch. Kind of like we're making like a little origami, little baby envelopes. Okay. And then we're going to get one larger piece of DST, double-sided tape. I'm using waterproof canvas, and I'm going to put it right at the line that I created so I can fold it onto it. And do the same thing. Put my double-sided tape away for now. Don't lose my ruler in the process. I can't guarantee that. And just give a nice finger press. And do the same thing. Fold it to the line. Give it a nice little finger press. See? And then we have this really nice clean finish, so that way when someone opens up their pocket, it's all pretty. I'm going to open up my zipper pocket. Last time I did this, I forgot to, when we were cleaning things, I didn't have it open, and it wasn't the funnest. But you can see that came together really nicely. So let's head on over to page 19, and we're going to put this aside just for right now, and we're going to grab our other piece, and we're going to put right sides together. And I'm just going to mark my centers. I'm going to put a clip in the bottom. And then we're going to put these two pieces together. Right sides together. And then we're going to sew this together at 3/8 of an inch. I always backstitch 1 or 2 stitches every time I sew. Try not to sew over a clip like I did. Always when I'm filming, trim the seam, not the seam allowance, the threads. We're going to carefully press the lining, seam allowance towards the upper main lining. And then we're going to top stitch. So if this is a little difficult because of your, the materials that you used, you can always, take it to the iron and do a little press, or just, I call it like the pancake method. I like flip it over extremely fast so that way I can top stitch this. I'm going to stop stitch this down at 1/8 of an inch. All right, we have that. That's all nice and clean and pretty. And then this is a great place to put your if you have a label, which I completely forgot to do that part. So I'm grabbing one real quick. If you have a label or a name tag, or if you have like a really cute, there's like so many cute labels that are out right now. There's even like, you could become part of the label crew that is like, all these different designers that create different labels. And I think it is genius because I like little cutesy labels. Just gonna grab one. I usually have like a pretty nice stack of some right by my table, but alas, I don't see it. I'm gonna just find my center, finger press this, I mean, I can find my center off of the things that I clip, but you know, we're going to put this going the right way. I'm just going to top stitch this real quick. I bought my labels from Heartwood and Hide. They created my logo too. She understood me so well. I'm like super geeky, so she kind of did like Celtic knocks because I love Celtic knocks, and it kind of looks like a Dungeons and Dragons dice. So I always appreciate when someone gets my quirkiness, and it makes me feel really good inside. So I love when a designer gives you areas where they would recommend for your labels, because it makes your life so much easier than you trying to like guess. All right. So the concave zipper is very important to follow your seam allowance precisely in every zipper. Your zipper reacts to the change in tension and pulling against the seams. So taking a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance versus a 3/8 of a seam allowance will create a lumpy or bumpy wave. Consistency is key, and you will be using double-sided tape as basing. So we'll be using the full seam allowance of 3/8 of an inch. All of this helps avoid any wavy zippers. You'll need to use a zipper foot, like I suggested using, to mark your seam allowances for accuracy if it's not accurate on your machine. So definitely take everything that this designer is saying to heart, because her bag looks impeccable and it has a lot to do with being consistent. So what I'm going to do, I'm grabbing my pieces that I'm going to be needing, and I'm going to take my zippers, and we're going to show you how we're going to be doing some measurements and all this really fun stuff. I'm going to grab my zipper pulls, and we're going to go. All right. So as you can see on page 20, the third figure, you have two exterior zipper tabs. She is using a flame to singe the ends, and it helps tremendously because frayed zipper tape is real. So we're going to be finishing the ends of our zippers, and the end results are going to look like this. They're two zippers that are pulled over about 1 inch down and folded over. I did a whip stitch and I hand stitched this, but I left one so you can see. So what I do is I measure exactly 1 inch like the designer says. I take my chalk pen and I make a mark. Now, I put this in this viewfinder so you can see a little bit easier. I apologize that I use black. I didn't have it. I was trying to look to see if I had like a mustard with black zipper tape, but I didn't have one. So alas, here we go. We're going to take our zipper and we're going to fold it down on itself. So we're going to take this where the zipper coils is and bring it to the edge. As you can see, it automatically goes into a triangle. We're going to fold that down upon itself, and it creates a nice clean finished look. So what you would do from here is use your, you would use a pin, which like all my pins are like MIA. I usually have like 100 pins over here because I use pins a lot more than people think I do. I use the pins, or I'll use a needle and I'll whip stitch it real quick, but I am not seeing that, and I'm not seeing any pins. So we're going to put this underneath the sewing machine. I'm going to move this out of the way. And we're going to just sew it down on the top part. And I'm just going to grab my stiletto, and I'm going to back stitch a couple stitches. When there's a will, there's a way, right? So I'm going to trim the threads, any excess zipper tape hanging out, and then Again, I'm just going to singe so that way it doesn't fray. So we have 2 zipper tapes like this. Then our next step is to make sure that we measure the zipper tape to be an exact number of 8.75. So I'm going to grab my grid ruler and I'm going to put my zipper tape, the head at the 0.75, and then this one actually matches exactly. I noticed if you cut exactly the zipper tape amount that you need and then you fold down the 1 inch, it works out. The first time I did this, it did not happen that way. So I'm putting the top of the zipper right at that 8.75. Hold on, let's see. I think this one's a little longer. And if it is, this is why we're cutting and trimming right now, so that way they all measure up right. That measures. And that measures. Yay, no trimming. But if it was a little bit longer, you would just mark your lines with chalk, or you can take it over to your rotary and just cut it across, and you should be fine. Then we're going to put our zipper pulls. Okay, normally I'm really good at putting zipper pulls, but whenever I'm on camera, somehow, some way, I don't know, I'm like camera shy or something, it doesn't work out. The best thing you can do is a zipper jig might be good for you, or some people use a fork. What I basically do is I try to get it nice and flush. There's like a middle divider, get both the zipper tape in there, and then I just kind of push it in and I pull it up. So I separate the teeth, and if you can, there is a middle divider inside the zipper. So when I put the zipper pull on, I put on one side, stick the other side in there, and then I just look and I kind of just push it on. Sometimes it works better than some, and other times not so much. So we have that. So there's no excess. We're going to take our zipper, ends, and we're going to put them on. What I like to do is I like to take 1/8 of an inch tape, and I'll put it on one side so that way I can fold it over, because they're not very big zipper ends, so sometimes my clips act a little wonky, and so I found out zipper tape using 1/8 of an inch wash away tape works really well. It gives it a temporary hold and it acts like a finger that I need. I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to make sure that it's centered before I stick down that glue, and then we're going to top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch, and I do back stitch 1 stitch. Okay, and do the same thing on this piece. Again, make sure that you're exactly at the measurements. If it's 1/8 of an inch off, it will make the tape a little wavy. That's why I measure twice, because it has happened to me, and it was because I did not measure correctly. So measure twice, cut once, right? So both of these are done. We're going to find our centers. So again, I take the clip, and I fold it in half, and I'm going to get the chalk pen, and I'm just going to mark it. And then I do the same thing for the back. Okay. Okay. And I just make sure that the lines are very defined. I would not recommend clipping into your zipper tape because it can unravel. And it's very easy to unravel, unfortunately. Finding your center is definitely key in this bag. I think in all bag making, actually, it's really important to do. Okay. All right. So then we're going to grab our main panel pieces and we're going to be doing some measurements. Again, I chose black. It wasn't the best idea, but what can I do, you know? Let me get this other griddle ruler because it's... Okay. And we're just going to put a mark. And I'm doing this with like real force because I want this chalk mark to last. Sometimes like chalk marks do not want to last for me for very long. All right. I don't think I cut out on this one. I did not cut out the clips for the center marks. Again, finding your centers is incredibly important. All right. Just gonna... That's a bad thing about... It's a great thing and the bad thing about chalk is it disappears so fastly. So quickly. But if I did like the permanent marker where I could see it, you won't be able to see it. So on the back, we're going to place double-sided tape across where we... we're going to place double-sided tape on the right side. We're going to put only along the curve. And I'm using 1/8 of an inch. If this double-sided tape wants to actually stick, it'll be awesome. I'm just lining up the raw edge. Okay, please note, because we're on page 23, this is when the zipper pulls. If you want all the zipper pulls going one direction, this is when you have to make things mirrored, non-mirrored. If you want them kind of like they are in the pattern, which I like, then just go with it. Just go with how the pattern has it. It depends on how you want it. I personally like it closing in different directions because to me, then that makes it looks like the bag really doesn't have a right side or wrong side. And I think it's cool. So then we're going to place our zipper. We're going to orient your zipper pulls to the direction you want. I'm just cinching down that glue. And I'm going to place my zipper over the DST that we just pulled out. And I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, and my DST wanted to lift on this side. And I need it to add a little bit more. This, I don't know where I got this DST at. It doesn't have, it's not super sticky, and I love it and I hate it because of it. Like I love it because it doesn't gum up the needles, but I also hate it because it doesn't gum up the needles. So the way the bag is positioned is this. So if you put the zipper pull on this, if you put the zipper pull going the same direction like this, they'll be opposite. If you wanted to have zipper pull to be in the same direction, then you would need to put it on opposite sides from the beginning. So when it turns around, all the zippers are going the same direction. I know someone requested this and they wanted to see how it would go in, how would I go in the same direction. So I'm going to do that to help this person. So I would put them in opposite directions. Like I will place, especially if you're just like a person that gets like flabbergasted with directions. I know I do all the time. You could be like, go to the left, Shanova, and I'm looking at you, right? Go to the left, Shanova. And I'm like, right. And you'll get frustrated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this DST onto this. All right. So I put it on the center and I'm lining this up and getting that little DST ball, and see that with both sides facing up, both main panels, I have it the opposite direction. When this bag gets put together now, the zipper pulls will go in the same direction. Okay. And then we could add a couple of clips just to secure the, to help the DST in case the DST is like mine, that's not super sticky. It just helps it out. Okay, so we put a couple of clips. Then we're going to go to page 24. And we're going to base the zipper 1/4 of an inch. We are not going to go outside of the zipper whatsoever, just within the zipper. So take your time. And we're going to base this in exactly 1/4 of an inch, only on the zipper. All right, there's one down. Okay, and we're going to do this on the other side too. One-fourth of an inch. Okay. All right. Then we're going to grab our lining piece, some lining pieces. So there is a 1 inch from the corner top that we're going to draw an L. So we're going to go 1 inch down. I'm just going to draw an L, a backwards L, sorry. If I can get my fingers on here. It's not ink that can, make sure you do it with ink that doesn't remove. I'm going to do this on my lining pieces. All right. So we're going to mark our centers. And we're going to center and clip into place. Okay, and then I'm going to clip this other one into place. I try to clip as many, like to do things in order for both sides so that I don't get lost, because I get lost very easily sometimes. It doesn't take much for me to get lost. And if you're like me and you're like, yeah, I get lost with something, then doing everything in order just helps a little bit. All right. So we clip to secure, and then we're going to flip the whole piece over to the wrong side, and we'll be basting stitch. This is going to be our basting stitch guide. If you basted your stitch, you'll see the tracing on the back, and you can go over it with a silver or a color pen to trace the whole seam on the back if you need to. We're going to do a 3/8 of an inch line. We're going to go from where we see the 1/4 of an inch stop and start. But we're going to do it at 3/8 of an inch and just follow that guide. And if you have a zipper pull that's in the way, just shimmy it down for right now and then go back to it. And if you get close, when you get close to the zipper, then you can shimmy it back up. 3/8 of an inch. It's very important to follow these guidelines because in the next steps, they help get the construction of the bag. So do not go past the original roll of stitching that are 1/4. They should be lined up line by line. Okay. If you do go past it and just unpick a couple stitches, you should be okay. Right, we're going to do the same thing on this one. Flip it over, and this is the row of stitching we're following, and we're going to just go 1/8 of an inch lower. That was a 1/4 of an inch seam. Now we're going to make it a 3/8 of an inch. Not going past the original row, and follow the seam allowance exactly so you don't get a wavy zipper. And I'm getting close to the zipper, so I'm going to go needle down, and I'm going to shimmy the zipper down. Zipper foot helps tremendously. I have a narrow foot, and I probably could get away with it, but I just noticed that there's always a lump when I do that. Trim those threads. All right. All right, since we didn't sew in these areas, we're going to put some double-sided tape, and we're going to put it across and down so we can fold it into this nice little corner that we made. So I'm going to get some super sticky double-sided tape because this double-sided tape will just pop up, and I will get agitated. You'll get agitated. We both get agitated. I think also if you probably use, like, you could probably do some beacon, but you would have to wind up holding it down for a while. So I think double-sided tape works best, just like the designer written in the pattern. So we're going to fold this down. We're going to do this 3 other times. I thought this was super genius. I've never done anything like this before, and I just was like, what? what? This is super cool. I'm going to cut some pieces so I'm like ready to go. Have you ever done this and then you left you wind up not using those pieces and you're like, why do I have this on my machine? That happens to me like a lot, like a little too much. And I'm pulling the double-sided tape off why I'm doing it, so that way I can put the other one on there, overlap it. Then this is so cool. I'm still super enamored with this. This is so creative. I love like watching creative people work. It just makes me excited. You know, I always imagine like the people that work for Apple, like whenever they come out with a new phone or a new like device, like everyone's like geeking out. Like, yes, this is awesome. Or like, you know, the new gaming system, like you have to be excited that somebody else created something like is a new way. This is what I feel like about this. Like I never in a million years would have thought about doing this technique. I was like, yes, I don't know what else I'm going to use it on, but I plan on using it. Get it? It's like exciting. All right. What? See, it's all cute. All right. So we folded these down and then we're going to put where that white mark, we're going to put a piece of double-sided tape and we're going to fold this down like this. Again, super sticky double-sided tape is key here. I'm just going to remove that. All right, so on the wrong side of the main panel where that small horizon, we drew that line. We're going to, I'm just going to reinforce the line because there's exact measurements. I know you guys probably can't see it, so that's why I'm going to draw that line again. Okay, so we're going to take our double-sided tape and we're going to cut pieces that are the measurement. I'm putting the double-sided tape right above the line. I want a little bit over. And we're going to pill it and then we're going to fold it down to that line and just press it with your fingers. I have double-sided tape that from that non-sticky one that's coming out. Ooh, this is sticky. Does not want to lift. Okay. Do the same thing on this side. So like when you flip it over, you are going to get like a nice finish. It looks just, you'll see, it's really beautiful. All right, let's do this side and then we're going to be going to the next steps. That's why it was important not to go past the original row of stitching. And I'm using the Hyper Stick from Wawak. I always feel like I'm saying that wrong. I'm using the Hyper Stick from them. And all right. So with everything needed to be aligned and functioning properly, you remove the DSC backing and you're going to fold over to the line. And we are going to clip. I'm going to clip this down. And do the same thing on this side. This is so cool. do the same thing on this side. Oops, sorry to move you. This is getting bigger, so I'm going to go back to this view. And we have that. We have everything clipped down. And we are going to repeat the same process. That's why I do everything the same. We're going to top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch. You're going to need to adjust your work as you go, but top stitch this curve. We're going to go from end to end. Be mindful of the bulk and go slowly. Use a hump jumper if you need to. So I'm just going to make sure that everything is nice and taut against itself. And we're going to slowly and steady top stitch. You're like, Sugar, the machine went fast. You're not going slow. Sometimes my machine has a mind of its own, and it's not my fault. And don't pull your zipper too much, because that can make it a little bit wavy too. All right. That looks good. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Just finger press, and it's a curve, so just keep that in mind. That's why you're going slowly. It's a little slope of a curve. It's really elegant. 1/8 of an inch. Take your time. If you have to stop with the needle down so you can adjust. And if I get to the zipper, I just move it out of the way. Okay. Woohoo! So we have this done. Trimming the threads. I asked for a needle and then a pack came. Yep, that's how it works. My room is magic and no one could tell me otherwise. All right, so we're going to now make 2 panels kind of go as one. We're going to find the 2 panels and we're going to do the wrong sides together. It all depends on, if you have a right or wrong side for how you want your bag to be positioned. So just keep that cognizant. If I'm like, yeah, I want this to be the back, then I want the zipper to go to the back. It's just all the greatness. So I'm going to clip. Clip this together. All right, so fold these 2 panels. Everything needs to be aligned. Just making sure everything fits nice and all the markings match. Just take your time. You can use double-sided tape. All right. Okay. Okay, so we're going to want to, sorry about that. Amazon was delivering a package. My dogs were barking. But I did get I bought these really cute big pens. Hold on. I'm sorry. I bought these really, really cute big pens. Bright colors, because I don't know, my ink keeps drying out on any pen. So I was like, oh, this is cute. There's pink, blue, and green. So pointless to the pattern, but just wanted to share. All right, so we have our main piece that we have the lining, and we're going to attach this pocket. So you're going to find your center with your center marks. And we're going to put some clips in it like we did last time. I'm just going to move this stuff over, and we're going to we're going to base this together like we did at the last zipper at 1/4 of an inch. And remember, we're going just to end of the zipper. We're not going past that. That helps tremendously with the curve of this zipper. You could put double-sided tape like we did in the beginning on the main panel, but you can clip it instead as well. Do what makes you feel secure. I know with my first one, I definitely did double-sided tape because it was my first time sewing this pattern, and I followed all the little suggestions to try to help me along the path, you know? All right, so we're going to get our lining, and we're going to put that right sides together. I'm just going to clip a couple clips in place, and I'm going to flip it on this side, and we're going to sew it on 3/8 of an inch. Oops, sorry. My zipper is in the way. So we're going to go 3/8 of an inch. And if you have to adjust your work, just do it with needle down. And it's pretty much following the exact instructions we did for the main zipper panel. When we put it together. Except I messed up. I'm sorry. Let me remove these rows of stitching. I promise you my puppies got the best of me. I did not fold down this area to keep it out of the seam. So I'm just going to seam rip this real quick, or I've been doing, I have this Kai seam ripper, but every time I want to use a cool tool while I'm sewing, I promise you, it just like disappears into the ether I call my room. Okay. All right, sorry about that. We're going to get some double-sided tape and put this on the lining piece. And this helps to keep it look neat and clean, and it actually helps a lot tremendously in the next step. And then we're just going to fold this down in a little box. I thought this was a really cool trick when I seen it, and again, I've never seen anything like it, and I love when we get to learn something new. It's a nice way to get a nice clean edge. We're going to fold this down into the box. So you do this to all of the lining pieces. It helps reduce bulk and it makes it have a nice clean line. So we're going to get this, I'm going to put this back right sides together and clip it in a couple places. And we're going to now sew this at 3/8 of an inch. And we're going to sew it from this side and we're going to start right here all the way across. So don't go past the lining marks. I'm just going to make sure I have everything clipped as best as I can. All my clips somehow gravitated to the top of my machine. All right, let's go. 3/8 of an inch. Okay, I'm by the zipper pull. I'm just going to go underneath and move that out of the way. All right. All right, I'm just going to trim excess threads. Remove the clips, and then I'm going to move this. Now, because this is at a curve, it's going to want to act a donkey, and it's okay. We're just going to put the right sides together, and I'm going to put some clips to make sure everything lines up nice and neat. And we're just going to keep everything neat. Put some clips. I'm an over clipper if you haven't noticed. I'll zip this back up for you so you can see. Because it's a curve, it wants to be like, oh, guess what? We want to act up. It's cool. Don't worry about it. We're just going to follow the curve and keep things nice and taut and make sure nothing is, moving up out of the way. So we're going to sew from where the zipper teeth is to the end. We're not going to go past it. Now, you want to have long threads because we're going to be pulling these threads to the back. So let's start. And what I did is honestly, I unzipped it. I felt like it was a little bit easier than trying to fight because then this curve naturally can just lay. And I just keep everything nice and tight. 1/8 of an inch. And just making sure both lining pieces are flush at the bottom. Because something can shift, and it definitely can. Keeping everything aligned. All right, have long tails again. We're gonna snip them off. All right, so you can either, that's why you're supposed to throw away those rogue threads so they don't get, you could pull everything to the back and knot it off and nobody will notice the difference. She does show you in the pattern how to do it where you pull the threads from in between. It's really hard to see unless I did an extreme zoom, and I'm not that tech savvy. I just pull up these two loops and it takes them from the threads from the front and the back, and I'm tying them off in the middle of the fabric so it's more invisible to the eye and still functional. Then I snip it and then I melt my threads. I'm using a poly bonded thread. If you're using cotton, if you pull it too much, you can break your threads and it can be super frustrating. So be gentle. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my stiletto. I'm going to tug at this thread. And I'm going to pull at this thread so I can get this little loop. There we go. It's easier to do it where you ended your stitch because you just ended your stitch and you didn't lock it. So just a little easier. Tie it off. Like I said, I tie it like 3 to 4. I'm an over tire tying too. Tying it off. And then I'm going to hit it. Yeah, flames. All right, so we have this beautiful thing. We're going to do some other steps right now. So you know how this side we didn't do a fold in. Hold on. Okay, sorry, this is why we trim threads. You know on this side how this part right here did not get folded over like the beginning one? We're going to match. We're gonna move this out of the way. We're gonna match these two pieces. So like you're gonna fold this over onto here. And you're gonna match. Okay, you're gonna take this flat side and that's not folded over, and you're going to match it to the fold over part. And then you're going to take a staple. And I know you're like, Shanova, staple? Oh, you never do it. Never say never. I'm going to staple this so that when we are doing our basting stitch, this can stay. So I'm going to show you again on this side. It's really hard to see. But on this side, we had that folded over, that we folded over on the main panel, and this side doesn't. So I'm going to take the unfolded side and match it to the folded side. And I'm going to then staple. I wish I had 3 hands because this could be a little challenging, but it's worth it. I promise you. You're going to be like, yes, my bag is perfection. I'll be like, I know, right? And I'm just going to staple it so it can hold it in place. Yay! So it looks really weird right now, and you're like, Shanova, are you sure you didn't staple it wrong? I didn't, I promise you. All right, so we're going to take the pocket. This is where the zipper pocket is. We're going to put everything on this side. We're just going to clip it together. And we're going to baste it together. So we're going to sew from where above the staple is 1/8 of an inch. Make sure you don't hit the staple. It's very easy to, I have, and make sure that you hold your tail so it's all for naught. Let's see. It's not all for naught. Let's see. I'm going to get my threads. Okay, I'm going to sew this down at 1/8 of an inch. And making sure all the layers are together. So on this side, there should be just the one. And you should have 1, 2, 3 on this side. Make sure everything is aligned. Raw edges to raw edges. Okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to remove my staple because I'm not going to lie, on my second one, I accidentally left it, even though the pattern like advises you to remove the staple. I was like, yeah, I didn't staple. I sure did. And I sure did poke myself when I tried to turn the bag. It was not fun. Okay, get those threads. So you should have where this part, the zipper part, is open. You can, oh, look at the nice pocket. And this is free because this is the lining. So you should do both of your patterns like this. Again, the zipper pocket is open in this one. Both lining pieces are coming down on here, and everything's nice and flush. Okay. So once you have that, we have our 2 pockets, and we are going to get our pocket that it has the, we're going to need for the magnet over here. We're going to get this cute little magnet. And hopefully I have the washer in here. I'm notorious for losing magnet washers too. Like, I am notorious. Like, I literally have to buy extra magnet washers because I somehow lose them just because. All right. So we're going to put our magnet in now, and you're going to want to make sure you have this as centered as possible. I am going to fold this over and just make a chalk mark just to make sure it's centered. Because I had it where it was like off by 1/4 of an inch. Man, I was not a fan. All right, so then we're going to, let's see, do I have a, it's really hard that I picked black because normally I would write in pen, but you won't be able to see, and I'm not too even sure my Tandy pens work. They dry out really fast for me, but I'm going to put 2 marks, and I'm just going to, for the sake of all sakes, I'm going to check to make sure it is centered as possible. And then you can take a seam ripper, you can take scissors, you could take whatever you have available, and you can make 2 little slits, not going through any of the layers. And then you're going to put your magnet through. And then you're going to put your washer on it. And then I'm going to grab my tool and I'm going to pull down those prongs so they don't get, like, they're not all sharp. And I'm going to take some foam. Again, I get this foam at Lowe's. It's usually in the area where you put flooring in. It's like the padding, and I just put it in. I do not recommend this on any bag that you're using for like the foundation, like stabilizer. It does not work out well. And while I'm here, I'm going to sew. Apparently I did not sew this down good enough. This is why I was like, tug, tug, tug. Do as I say, not as I do kind of scenario. And there we go. Okay, so we have that. Now we're going to get our little magnet, and we're going to do some marks. We're going to do some marks on it. We're going to find the center. Now you can measure it, you can fold it in half, do whatever it makes it easier for you. So I'm always a folder. I don't know why. I'm just putting the center. I'm re-measuring it just to make sure this is really a good mark for the center. Then I'm going to put some double-sided tape down. The super sticky one. Okay. And then we're going to find our center on the other half. And I'm just going to, Again, fold it over. Probably put a clip. I like to put clips and everything. And then find, I did not center my name tag well. Oh, I want to make sure. Hold on. Or maybe I did. The zipper pull was in the way. I'm sorry, guys. I just want to make sure everything lines up, because this is like, I'm really bad sometimes at finding my center. So I want to make sure I'm not on this, and I got it. And we're going to put you can use two 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape, or you can use 1/4, and you're going to mark these to line up the center mark that you had. Okay. And again, I'm just going to make sure, and my double-sided tape was like, guess what? We're just going to come off. Just feel like that's not the center. I cannot put my finger on it. Something just feels super off. Okay. Okay. And I'm just going to measure just because I am not feeling 100%. It actually is centered. Okay. It just does not feel like it. I think it's because my name tag is off just like by 1/8 of an inch, so it doesn't feel centered. So then we're going to do some stitching. We're going to, with our ruler, draw with a removable pen a 1/2 inch up. My removable pen is not really great right now. And we're going to stitch where the lining is. And then we're going to tie all tails to the back, or trim and melt. And we're going to make just like a box. So you want to make sure, and here is the other washer that I was looking for. Yep, that's about right. I'm going to move all this stuff out of the way so you don't accidentally sew through those layers. We're just going to have long tails, and we're going to do 1/8 of an inch all the way around where you drew the box. We're going to pull those tails to the back. Okay, long tails again. We're going to grab these tails, pull them to the back. Grab your stiletto so you can pull up that loop easily. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to trim these, and then I'm going to melt them. If you're doing cotton, just be careful. You don't set your bag on fire and whatnot. Because that's plausible. And then we're going to, you can remove the residue of the ink with a baby wipe or whatever your method is. And we're going to grab the gussets, the upper gusset lining and the lower gusset lining. Okay. We're almost there, I promise you. So we're going to put the upper gusset right sides up. Right sides down, the upper gusset. And then put the lower gusset right side up. And then we are going to clip them in place with the million clips that I keep collecting and not finding. And we're going to sew the gusset at 3/8 of an inch across. I'm just going to swing this side on over 3/8. Okay. Trim those thread tails. And then we're going to snip into the fold. Do not cut into your stitching. About 3/8 of an inch. And we're going to trim in the center, not trimming into our stitch line. You're going to leave about 1/8 of an inch. And your piece should kind of look like this, like a little U, a long U. We're going to do the same thing here. Okay. Then we're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. All right. All right, so they're all ready to go. We're going to attach the lining to the exterior at 3/8 of an inch, and I'm just going to clip on the sides to make sure nothing shifts, because my vinyl is kind of slippery on the top, so I want to make sure. So 3/8 of an inch. And I'm right here, so I'm going to attach these two and just reuse those clips and do this at 3/8 of an inch too. Okay. All right. Make sure you're not using too short of a seam allowance. So you sew the right sides together, and we kind of create this loop. And you can see where we can fold down the seams. We have this loop. So what we're going to do is grab one piece, and I usually love to start with like what I feel like is the front, and we're going to literally find our centers. Always find your centers first. So I'm going to put the seams together, and I'm going to lay this flat and do a little snip. I'm going to do the same thing with the lining. Just open up the seams and put a clip there. This I love this vinyl because it's so pretty, but it is wicked slippery, like real slippery. So here we go. As I drop up a zillion clips, that's about right. So we're going to take this and we are going to put right sides together. I like to take 2 clips and put them at the points that are supposed to be matching. All right. Our center, our marks that have where we're going to butterfly it open should meet right at the line, the stitching line. Hold on. I cannot talk today. Right where it stops, where it's about to start and stop with the exterior piece. On the side that's not folded. See, this matches right here. You just want to match everything as best as you possibly can. And we're just going to clip. We're just going to ease everything into the curves. Take your time. There's no race. There's no marathon. It's not who can do it the fastest. It's whatever works for you. And then like when you get to the bottom corner where the vinyl is, you're going to have to make small little snips to help ease the gusset in. So again, I'm making these match. That's super important. So of the bag to look good. I did learn this trick about putting double-sided tape, like 1/8 of an inch, on areas that you really are trying to match really well. I did it one time and I was like blown away on how accurate everything looks. Taking a lot of clips. I'm an over clipper. So I'm just clipping the straight lines. And then I'm going to clip as much as I can at the bottom before I need to start clipping into the seam. I like when we get to clip into a seam because I feel like we are like really giving it a smooth finish, nice customized feel. And the gusset is just so clean. All right, so we're going to just do little baby snips, like no more than 1/4 of an inch deep into the fabric, and I'm just doing. All right, and then I'm just watch as you can just now spread it, and it'll just curve around that area beautifully. Like a great gusset makes me like super happy, like ridiculously, unbelievably happy. I'm like, yes, the gusset fits. So we're going to snip this in. And then we're just going to ease it in. Okay. I don't know if anyone else feels like that when the gusset, it's all like fits perfectly. It's like heaven. All right. So when we sew this around, we're going to sew 3/8 of an inch around the vinyl, but in the lining, we're going to make it a little bit more snug. We're going to make it about 5/8 of an inch. Okay. So I like to start with the smaller seam allowance and then gradually go up. And backstitch the beginning and end. If you need to, use a stiletto to help you around the curves. It just goes where you don't want your finger to go. And I ran out of bobbin. That's how it goes. It's okay. I have another one. Let's see. There we go. All right. So I'm going to backstitch a couple steps so I can lock in those stitches, and then I'm going to continue at my 3/8 of an inch. And remember, it's okay to have ripples above the needle, never below, or it will show on the outside of your bag. Okay, so once we hit that seam, we're going to increase our stitch length because we want a nice snug lining. We don't want a baggy lining. It's not cute to have a baggy lining. So increase it. Sometimes it's a little bit harder for me to do the area that's not as structured versus the structure area. So I just try to take my time as much as I can. And no crinkles or wrinkles below the stitch line. All right, and we stitched everything, okay. We're gonna trim these threads. And we're going to trim. We want to trim our area about 1/4 straight edges at 1/4 of an inch, and then we can notch our curves. Or if you have a pinking tool, you could pink it. So at our straight, we're gonna just trim this to about 1/4. I'm sorry, I can't talk today. And I like to do this like before I'm doing it, so I'm not like lost when or accidentally forget to do it, because I will do that too. And I did have pinking shears that I brought out, but of course, that's about right. Hold on. Oh, I have these pinking shears. All right, so I'm gonna get some pinking shears, and I'm just going to go around the curves so they can be nice and notched. Okay, and then I'm just going to trim this down to 1/4 on the straight edge. And I'm going to do the same on the lining, just pink it so I can sit in the bag nice. I like pinking shears. I like notching too, but for the sake of the video, because I'm a slow notcher, I'm going to pink it. All right. So now we're going to get the second piece, and we're going to repeat the same. Now, I cannot stress this enough, you want to make sure your zipper pocket is open. If it's not, you're going to be really upset at yourself, and I will know why, because it's going to be hard for you to shimmy and like get this print out. I mean, get the back, birth the back. So let's get this trim. I'm going to put notch to notch, triple checking that the pocket's open. Notch to notch. Oh, there's the other one. I like to put like a bigger clip in the area that I know I'm notching. I mean, I'm trying to match notches. It just helps me out tremendously. Matching lining to lining. Lining to lining mark. Making sure that mark is nice and even. Okay, then butterfly that seam. Okay, so now we're going to just start clipping this bag into place. Take your time. Use as many or as few clips as you want to. Moving any excess out of the way and just clipping. There goes another clip. Another clip bites the dust. Making sure that my zipper pocket lining pieces are completely out of the way, so you don't accidentally sew over it somehow, some way. Because you know, like, weird stuff happens when you're sewing. Like, you just see me sewing over the clip. Like, things happen. If there's a will, there's definitely a way. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip the straight as much as I can before I start notching. Okay. No more than 1/4 of an inch. I do like 1/4 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch apart. I mean, not exactly. There's no way. Because can you imagine measuring this out and then like drawing out each area that you clip? That would be kind of cool though. I probably would do that one day. All right. Okay. All right, so we're going to start again at, I like to start at 3/8 of an inch and then increase. So we're going to take it to the machine, back stitch well at the beginning and end. And again, I always encourage using a stiletto because I always want to like press down with my finger on something, and it's more safe for you. And this is the exciting part because you're almost there. You're almost done with your beauty. And then when you're done, you're going to feel so accomplished. You're going to love this bag. And you're going to want to make one for like everyone in your family. Move this clip out of the way. Take your time. And remember, you're going through different layers of vinyl and cotton. So just give yourself a little bit of grace and take your time because it's a lot that you're sewing through. And I'm just shifting things out of the way with the needle down and adjusting. Making sure raw edges were raw edges. And be cognizant of your pocket that you don't accidentally sew over it. Okay. Make sure you back stitch, and then let's do some trimming, and then we'll birth this baby. So again, on the straight edges, we're trimming it down to about 1/4 of an inch. Be careful with your scissors too, because you're going through different layers of bulk, and if you put that pressure, you can accidentally like snip the inside of your hand or something like that, and that's not good. No blood on the bag, okay? Sweat, tears, sorrow, anger, all the other emotions, yeah, 100%. Not blood. All right. So then I'm going to paint the lining. Okay, and then I'm going to paint the exterior. Don't cut into your stitching right now, because it won't be the end of the world. You can go 1/8 of an inch around. It just will be very frustrating, you know? I need to pinky yours. Let's see. All right, so once we have all of that and we trimmed everything away, we are going to go through our lining pocket and birth it. And because we use soft interfacing and it's not like Decoville Light, it's like fusible fleece or Thermolam batting, whatever you use, it is really, really easy to birth. It's a nice birthing process. It's not like, oh my gosh, why did I do this to myself? I've had several of those moments, actually. I'm just sticking my hand through the pocket and just kind of poking out and massaging the bag into place. You can always like heat up your iron and like steam your ironing board or your wool mat and then place your bag on top of it to like not the iron but the steamed board that you just steamed, and it can like soften your vinyl just a little bit so it can be a little bit easier for you to maneuver. Let's see how this is going to look. I'm just massaging. Yeah, I said massaging. We're massaging our bag. And rounding those corners. Sometimes what I like to do is overnight I'll stuff my bag and just let it sit, and it'll take the shape better. I mean, it's kind of, this vinyl's been through a lot. It's kind of been like, oh, dramatic. Okay, and we're getting it. Sorry, that's the big puppy upstairs. Okay, we're gonna close up this lining. This is super cute. I like to just like roll this out. So yeah, another thing you can do, and this is going to sound weird, you can take a rolled up, like put a towel in the dryer on heat, like a hand towel, and then roll it up and stick it in here too, and just leave it overnight. Let's see. And then I like to roll the seams. I like to massage my fabric. So once we have birthed it, we can close up this pocket. And then we're going to put some glue in some spots. So we're going to, those beautiful, oops, that's not so over the scissors, Shanova. We're going to take those beautiful ends that we created. Nice clean fold. And we're going to top stitch this close at 1/8 of an inch. Back stitch at the beginning and the end. I'm just gonna melt those away, tuck that pocket back in. This is a nice size bag. Ooh. Says it. It's really nice. Just take your time with you have to think that this bag is trying to roll like any other seam onto itself. So just be a little patient and massage it. It's all going to be worth it in the end. And then we're going to get some glue and we're going to put it in the little gaps in between. And I'm going to stick some clips on it. I'm using some Beacon fabric tack, I'm sorry. And we're just putting the dab of glue right here. Gonna grab a clip. This glue makes some serious spider web things happen. You're just putting it in between the lining and the exterior, so that way it can like not separate from each other. Just going around checking threads. Okay. And then I'm going to put some in here too. Not like a whole lot. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's not. my glue keeps, like, it gets dry fast out here sometimes. I don't know why. My pens too. Like, pen gate is real for me. Okay, so I got some clips on here. And why you can let this, be careful with the glue because it could like rip off your vinyl coloring. Like, I don't know. That is like, if you don't want vinyl no more, just be careful. You have your beautiful bag. We are going to put our connectors. There are placement marks on the connectors and you would need to punch those holes. Then you're going to want to slide a connector on your ring and then put it kind of on the fold in how you want your vinyl to sit. I'm going to transfer the hole mark that I want onto the vinyl. And then I'm going to punch the hole and apparently grab, I got a sharpener for my hole punch because I keep having to do the punch swivel thing. Yeah, I hate doing that. But I notice other sewists do it, so I think it's just what we do. It's like you punch and then you kind of swivel it back and forth. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. You're just like laying it on top. I'm going to move these clips for right now. You're laying it on top and then you're just centering it and you're putting it as flush as you can so the ring will sit nice and pretty. And then you mark your toe and then you punch and swivel apparently. It's all the kids do it. And then I'm going to grab a rivet. And make sure that you have the right rivet size because that can, you don't want something too thick and then your rivet is like not set correctly. That can make a rivet pull through easily and the whole 9 yards. It should be nice and flush with your last layer and then you should be able to put the cap on and get a nice little set. Let's see. Do the same thing on the other side, then I'll set these rivets. Okay, Then I'm going to go get my rivet. I got my rivet press from Minka Samardo. They're a mom and pop shop on Etsy. And they just have a lot of sets, a lot of dies, and really great customer service. Really great. And they have videos. So like if you buy like spikes, they'll show you how to set them, pressure, everything. There's no affiliation. I just like small companies. But Cam Snaps, Emmeline Bags, My Handmade Space all have rivet setters too, and they're all small businesses. So, all right. All right, I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to keep the clips on it so the glue can dry. And I'm going to make my strap. I'm just going to be making a 3/4 strap by 54. And let me get some double-sided tape. Just, I like the 3/4 of an inch hardware with this bag. It looks so dainty. But if you look in the back of the pattern, she has so many different ways you can make straps. You can make a shoulder strap. You can make a chain strap. There's so many different pull methods. And I just lost all my clips. Okay. Cut off the edge where you can see that it's it's kind of like when you have cork and you can see that brown area where like the color is, where they made a design. So I'm just going to fold this onto itself, leaving a 1/8 of an inch gap in the middle. And as you go, if you want to, you can add a clip. So we're gonna, I know it's a process, but the clips help because sometimes like this fabric's kind of slippery. So if it shifts or something, it cannot catch. And then you're like, oh man, do I unpick it or do I just do a second row of stitching? Like, and it's your strap. So you wanted to make it look wonderful. It's a process, but it's worth it. And make sure you have that 1/8 of an inch so it's not like a weird bulky situation. Okay, we're almost done. I promise. I'm sorry, I'm a slow clipper. There goes some hardware. I'm not savvy enough with editing to fast forward on things, but hopefully, knock on wood, by this time next year I can. But I think you like my weird, sarcastic personality, so in my comments. But I really like how this all comes together. Now, most people like to do the strap first because your bobbin's full, right? So whenever when I seen this pattern and the straps were last, I was like, yes, Yes, this is what I do because I feel like this is like the final step and it's the most rewarding because you know you're done. So here we go. Let's go. So we're going to do 1/8 of an inch down both sides. I'm going to back stitch in the beginning. Take your time. Back stitch. Okay, one side's done. Because I can already see this strap is already curving, I'm going to trim the threads so nothing nests. And I'm going to go down the other side at 1 inch. 1/8 of an inch. But I'm going in the same direction so the strap doesn't curve even more. Your strap can curve for so many different reasons. Vinyl, thread tension, just because it's finicky. So just be patient. You totally got this. Everybody goes through it. It's not you, it's the vinyl. All those great sayings. So we're gonna back stitch this off and we're gonna trim threads. And see, I kind of nipped the curve in the butt. So, yes. So we have our strap. You're going to follow, there are a couple different, we're going to go on page, I just had this. We're going to go on page, we're not making the shoulder one, I'm sorry. I like the shoulder strap a lot. So there's a shoulder strap insulation, and then the bonus contact, you can do a chain, or like a regular crossbody. There's her skeleton doing like a stretching position on page, I think 55, and it's every time I see it, it makes me I'm super immature. Crossbody strap, we're going to mark at 0.75 and 0.25 for installation, if I can. So I'm just drawing dots, and I'm going to punch them. I have a drill bit that's connected to the side of my table. I prefer to punch holes with it than my hole punch, because my hole punch doesn't really like me too much. Sometimes I'm always doing that punch swivel thing, and it's not the best. Sorry about the sound. Okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to melt the threads real quick. You don't want to have everything ruined because of some threads. And then I'm going to grab some rivets and 2 rivets and be, let's see, right back. I need to stop separating stuff. I have like the rivet caps, heads, but not the actual rivets. All right, so, and I dropped one of the rivet heads. Sorry about that, I apologize. All right, so I'm going to grab my slider and grab 2 rivets. And we're going to set them okay. Okay, then we're going to take, everything is always in so much plastic, take one of our swivel clasps and thread it through. Nova against the plastic. So make sure everything is facing the same direction. Thread it over and under the strap, and then we're going to thread the male part of the rivet through again to set this last swivel. Okay, we are all done with our beautiful strap, and we're going to put it on this gorgeous bag that I still need to massage out. Sounds really weird when I say that, but that's exactly what I do. And the great thing about this is that you can offer family, friends, clients options. Maybe offer them one adjustable strap so they can be hands-free, and then offer them a cute chain or a shoulder one, and you're done. You have a beautiful, beautiful Aries. You have 2 full-size zipper pockets, a magnetic snap closure in the middle that has an additional zipper pocket, and another one over here. This bag comes together really fun. You learn a lot of different techniques. I can't speak highly enough of it. So what I'm going to do now is, before I take pictures, I'm going to let it sit with a nice warm towel in it, and you will see the finished product and the thumbnail. If you have any questions in reference to this bag, please comment down below. In my description box, I will have the link to not only Shannon's video, but where you could purchase this pattern. That's it. If there's any other knotted thread patterns that you would like to see me make, please comment down below, and I definitely will ask the designer. So until the next time I see you, have a nice day and happy sewing.